Hey, welcome. Just want to share something. So I went to have a beautiful pre-Christmas lunch with friends yesterday, and it was gorgeous. We sat in the sunshine in their yard, and the warm winter rays were casting golden light through the trees. And while we sat there, the animals were playing and meandering around us. There were cats, there's a big dog, there were chickens. Birds were singing in the trees, and we were eating this most beautiful food. And while we sat there, we were putting the worlds to rights. We were just discussing everything, all the hot topics, all the dangerous conversations, all the things that bring up heated opinions. But we were lucky. We were with good friends. We were speaking with love. We had a real good time actually facing these things and talking them over, and there's a beauty to it. And I realize it's really important for human beings to get together and discuss what it means to be human, to make decisions like this, because we live in an ongoing moment of infinite possibility. And as I sat there in the sunshine with a conversation going on around me, it's almost like the silence became louder. The space in between the words. And instead I found my focus shifting to the way the light glinted off the leaves, the dappled patterns it made on the ground, and how those danced while the breeze moved the trees. The colours of the flowers, of the plants, of the greenery, the way the fruits contrasted with the sky, and my attention was with all these things, and I found my heart being filled with love at the beauty of the moment, and this sense that every single moment is filled with infinite beauty, potentially. And I could just shift out of my head where all these conversations were happening into this heart space where, although everything we were saying kind of mattered, we were deciding what was real for us in the moment, it was all impermanent, and there was really only one thing that was real. Well, when I say one thing, it was a universe of things that were real. And that was how my heart was responding to everything it was perceiving and receiving in this now. So I don't know what to speak to this. Infinite potential for what it means to be human, to be blown wide open, dissolved completely in any moment. See, like I was saying, we get together and we have these discussions about what it means to be human, and we say, well, this is how I think about that. These are my judgments about that. And so often we go into our minds to make these judgments about what he said, she said, they did, this happened, when this happened in the news, this is what it means. What this group of people are doing, this is how we're going to respond and feel about that. This is what we're going to decide together about what it means to be human. And we do it because the alternative is being with the impossibility of the infinite potential, that it doesn't mean anything to be human in this moment, or it could mean absolutely anything. And in every one moment there is infinite potential for deciding what it means. And it's beautiful to get into our heads and have conversations and chat about all this and decide together. But as I was sat with some friends in a garden doing just this the other day, what I realised, something made me shift into my heart. It was the golden sunlight glinting off the leaves. It was the stillness in the garden around us, the spaciousness in the blue of the sky above us, and the warmth I was feeling on my skin. And all of these things shifted me into this still point in my heart, where for a moment, all we were talking about fell away like feathers on the wind. It did. It did. it fell away. And I realized that we would decide one thing in one moment, we decide another thing in another moment. And billions of people all over the world are making similar decisions, moment to moment, about what everything means. But right in that moment, it brought me out of my head and into my heart, where there was beauty, and I could feel love. I felt love for the animals around us. I felt beauty, the beauty in the warmth of the light filtering through the trees. And I've been wondering, what does Christmas mean for me? Because the pandemic has blown it wide open and broken and reset it for me. And I'm just at this phase of going, well, what does it mean? What could it could be anything. I can decide what this means. It could mean anything. And that really brought me home to, it means the love I have in my heart in this now moment. And anything around me and everyone around me, finding what calls me back home to that. Not getting lost in my head and my mind, the conversations and the who's right, who's wrong, what are we right about, what are we deciding now? Just the beauty behind those conversations. The caring, the intent, the passion that I can hear in my family, in my friends when they speak about things they care about. That opens me to my heart and reminds me that nothing is more precious than the love I have for them. And I can choose to see that if I want in any one moment. So I've made that my how I'm gonna survive Christmas mantra. I'm sorry, you're not getting enough attention. Hello. And we'll see how it goes. But I wanted to share that with you. So, energies this Christmas, wow. What I'm being present with is this real beautiful activation around the corona, the crown light, and this opening of sacred geometries, weaving new forms and configurations, right, not just through our energy systems, but through and from within the very cells of our being. There is this breaking open of the cells. And it's like the light is breaking open. Something from within, filling our cells with light, weaving new light geometries. Now, the reason I spoke about conversations around the dinner table is because there's a lot of activity in the head right now. There's a lot of crown light activation and opening. And sometimes we can find ourselves unconsciously having our attention go up to our minds. And I tell you, that's going to put a lot of pressure on us. The guidance that I've been receiving this Christmas is to find what brings us back to our hearts. Because that is where we're going to find equilibrium, peace, spaciousness, silence in between the words. And a place in ourselves where it doesn't matter who is wrong and who is right, what we're talking about or what we decide. There is an infinity of possibility for each of us in each moment about what it means to be human. We are like a lens of light that's brought to a focus through dimensions, birthed within the all that is, asking itself one question: who am I? And in any one moment, there's an infinite number of responses to that question. But just by asking it, we catalyze a shift in our state of mind. If it's the mind that answers, then that's just going to get in our way. Because the mind can only supply a very limited cloud of answers to that question. It can answer with complexity. But there is a simplicity that asking that question calls us back home to. There can be. Sitting in the heart and asking an answerless question. One that can take us back home to ourselves in the moment. Who am I? And when I do that, I like to shift my attention to just how I feel inside. Noticing that breath and the sensation in the body. Letting my awareness rest on my heartbeat. These simple rhythms and the spaciousness of the unanswerable question. And in a moment, I come back to that simplicity. And again, I find my attention is drawn to, wow, what moves me is beauty. The way the light falls on things, the way it warms me, the way it changes the colours of the world around me, maybe the sound of birdsong. Or I let my senses expand out until they're touching the landscape. Even if I'm in a city and it's crowded with buildings, it doesn't matter. I can drop my attention all the way down through my feet, through the floors, into the soil beneath us. And that can keep on going down, down, all the way down into the strata of the earth, all the way down, right to the heart and core. I can feel that connection come back up through the soles of my feet, bringing with it love, nourishment, nurturing energy that travels back up my legs, energizing me from within. If I sit in my heart and I'm grounded, I can let my attention expand outwards to the hills, the sea, the oceans beyond, the buildings I'm in, to the sky, to the stars, out into the universe, these planets, this solar system, our sun. I can listen to my heartbeat and know it's held within the rhythms of the cosmos, the way the moon revolves, the earth revolves, the planets revolve, the breath of life, all the way out into the stars and beyond, into that spaciousness, beyond what we know, the stars we've counted, the universe we're always trying to understand, beyond all of that. Into that spacious place. Nothing's outside. Everything is within. I like to just sit there with that question, letting awareness spread out a little, asking for a moment, who am I? Happy Christmas, guys. This is what comes today. I hope you have a beautiful one.